so much. Humans are constantly learning. The scripture today is from Christian Science. The physical healing of Christian Science results now, as in Jesus' time, from the operation of divine principle, before which sin and disease lose their reality in human consciousness and disappear as naturally and as necessarily as darkness gives place to light. Now as then, these mighty works are not supernatural, but supremely natural. Humans are constantly learning. In every field, there are people pushing the boundaries of what we know and what we believe to be true. Our understanding of ourselves, our earth, and the universe continue to expand. Every individual's interests lead you on a separate path. In 1800, there were about 1 billion people on Earth. Today, there's about 8 billion. It's believed that up until the late 1700s, it was possible for an individual, a very smart individual, I'll agree, could know everything known to man. A Leonardo da Vinci or Thomas Jefferson could study all the books on astronomy, architecture, medicine, engineering, farming, philosophy, and religion. There were no internal combustion engines, no computers, no atomic or nuclear physics, no heart transplants, no DNA models, no antibiotics. People did not have any idea of the vastness of the universe. Since the Industrial Revolution, and especially since World War II, there's been an explosion of research into every field. There's no way any individual could grasp and be considered an expert in all those fields of study today. Most of us struggle to master one. But even with the huge increase in our knowledge of the universe and of ourselves, there's an unfathomable amount of things we do not know. To simplify our discussions around knowledge, we sometimes divide knowledge into two segments. Those things governed by the laws of physics, those things we can see and measure, and the laws of metaphysics, the things we can't see. In the real world, physics and metaphysics overlap in many areas. What are some examples of intelligence, seen and unseen, overlapping? We witness birds migrating thousands of miles at the same time of the year and going to the same places. We don't understand how they develop the intelligence, the knowledge to migrate. We could say that it's evolution. But even if we call it evolution, what was the spark of intelligence that opened the door for evolution to occur? Plants have learned to reproduce by generating their own seeds. They've seen plants actually react to human consciousness, to touch, to voice. The planets and galaxies have orbited in consistent patterns for billions of years. Scientists say it's gravity, but we don't understand really what makes gravity work. There's many things we don't understand. The Easter story, here we are in Lent. Jesus appearing after the crucifixion. It's a concept many people have a hard time accepting. Life after death. The Bible has many examples of people communicating with people in spirit. Over the centuries, there have been many people that have demonstrated this ability. Like birds migrating or gravity holding together our galaxy, we observe these as truth without being able to fully explain them. In our metaphysical principles, we define God as infinite intelligence. If we could know and understand everything in the universe, not only the knowledge that we have today, but have the explanation for everything and how it all fits together, we would have infinite intelligence. We would know the mind of God. We don't believe they're miracles. There are causes and effects that we don't understand. If we could access the mind of God, we would understand all causes and effects. With research and study, we strive to understand and improve the human condition through philosophy, religion, medical research, psychiatry, and many other fields. Recently, I've read a few articles that help to explain issues by exploring the relationship between physical fitness and metaphysical principles. We often hear that everything begins with our thoughts. If we think positive, we attract positive. An article in the Washington Post by Marlene Simmons addresses the placebo effect. The placebo effect is a phenomenon that occurs when a person's physical or mental health improves after taking what is essentially a sham treatment with no therapeutic benefits. Luana Kaloka, director of Placebo Beyond Opinions Center at the University of Maryland School of Nursing, states that a growing body of research finds that the placebo effect is real. Years ago, this was not taken seriously. Now it is part of science. Researchers have seen that the placebo effect can happen even when patients know they are getting a placebo, a process known as open label use. Experts believe clinicians should include them in mainstream medical practice, but be entirely truthful with the patients. There are many examples of this work. Ted Kaptchuk, a professor at Harvard Medical School, says, "Honesty is critical. We make it crystal clear. This is a placebo. No active ingredient. It's like a sugar pill. It might work, it might not work. Improvement can be quick or gradual. It's a crazy idea, but we have evidence that it works some of the time. It appears that if you believe it can work, it can work. In metaphysics, we define sin as error thinking. In the Bible, there are times after performing a healing, Jesus would say, 'Go and sin no more.' In other words, change your way of thinking and you will remain healed. Many religions, including United Metaphysical Churches, believe in and use spiritual healing techniques. We have them here on the platform before the service every Sunday. Reverend Fabian, thank you for that healing this morning. From the studies on the placebo effect, it can be surmised that to some extent, the belief in the power of spiritual healing could be a placebo factor in its success or failure. Now, us used to spiritual, we feel the energy of other people. We feel it. We believe it's healing energy. But there's also a proven thing of the placebo effect, believing it. Now, interestingly, there are also studies that show there's a nocebo effect. The nocebo effect is the opposite of the placebo effect, the evil twin or the dark side of the placebo effect. Said John Kelly, professor of psychology at Endicott College. It's a negative version of the placebo effect, where people are suffering more than they otherwise would because of their negative expectations. Again, studies have proven this. Both of these effects, the placebo and the nocebo, are in line with our metaphysical beliefs concerning the power of our thoughts and our ability to instigate the law of attraction. The law of attraction is the natural law that we bring into our life what we think about and expect to get. Research indicates many people have the nocebo effect around statins. Statins for cholesterol. My wife says I am the perfect example of this nocebo effect concerning statins. With the wisdom of practice what you preach ringing in my ears, I have to consider the possibility I have the nocebo effect around statins. This brings us back to the concept of infinite intelligence. By observation, we know gravity affects the physical world. We don't understand how, but we know it's a force of nature. Scientifically observing the placebo and the nocebo effect and the effect of our positive and negative thoughts, we know thoughts have an impact on us. It's a given. We may not understand exactly how it works, but we know the phenomena exists. Our thoughts are powerful. It's almost like in a sports game. If someone all of a sudden thinks they can't do it, they choke. Someone has shot a basket 1,000,000 times and all of a sudden he chokes. He doesn't think he can make it. And guess what? He doesn't make it. Our thoughts are powerful. We are usually referring to our conscious thoughts when we discuss the law of attraction. What about the power of our subconscious thoughts? In 1984, a a groundbreaking book, Mind Over Back Pain, a radically new approach to the diagnosis and treatment of back pain. Dr. John Sarno proposed that many physical ailments were caused by unprocessed trauma, psychological stressors, and repressed emotions. Over time, these could build up and trigger the brain to send signals of illness or the sensation of injury. He referred to this condition as TMS, or tension myoneural syndrome. Recently, there has been new work surrounding our subconscious thoughts in TMS. Nicole Sachs, a licensed clinical social worker, in her book Mind Your Body, writes about her work pertaining to releasing chronic pain and anxiety. Many chronic health conditions have reached epidemic proportions. We hear everyone, autoimmune disease. And it's just, we always hear it. Most people who come to Nicole Sachs have exhausted all other paths to cope with their chronic pain issues. They've used all the traditional medical avenues. These include back and body pain, bowel issues, sciatica, fibromyalgia, pelvic pain, long COVID, migraines, nerve inflammation, skin issues, anxiety, panic disorders, and many other health conditions. She has worked with people with all of these types of conditions. Sachs has learned that these kinds of syndromes often don't originate from physical sources. You always think it's something physical. You go in there and you're looking for something that's wrong. Rather, they are fueled by trauma responses associated with deeply rooted psychological and emotional triggers that send the nervous system into a fight or flight response, activating the brain to send a pain signal as a form of protection. Understanding the connection between seemingly unrelated mental responses and physical issues has opened the window of learning to cure many health conditions. We know how powerful our thoughts are and how they can trigger many responses. We know how instantaneous the fight or flight reaction is when we are in danger. We don't have time to think in dangerous situations. We usually react very quickly. Nicole Sachs has found that memories, conscious or subconscious, of past events and also current stressful events can trigger the same fight or flight response as an immediate physical danger. Many times there's no immediate physical danger, but our mind does not know this. We still get that reaction. It has to go somewhere. And our body just gets that push. Imagine you're a young child riding in a car. You witnessed a red car crash into the door right next to you. You're 2 years old and the car just... As an adult, you see red cars all the time, and you don't think anything about them. Your subconscious could be triggering a physiological fight or flight response every time you see a red car. It makes sense. And you would have no memory of it. Your body would be automatically sending this chemical response to some part of your body. This has been found to be a source of chronic pain. When the medical field does not have an explanation, we have heard, and we've all sometimes thought, it's all in your head. How many times, someone, you finally, it's your sister, your brother, it's in your head, nothing's wrong. Without knowing it and not understanding it, the diagnosis may be correct. Subconsciously, past experiences or current stressful situations are triggering an immediate danger response to your body. Imagine if something at work is really unsafe, and every day you go there, you're worried about it. You could be triggering that fight or flight every single day. Understanding this, we can start to work with the cause of our chronic pain. Nicole Sachs has found that with a combination of journaling, meditation, and many other techniques that we're used to using, we're familiar with these. Patients are able to identify incidents from the past and or present that are triggering a fight or flight response. She's developed specific methods to help identify and relieve chronic physical and mental issues resulting from subconscious triggering of the fight or flight syndrome. In many courses, we all do the meditation, we do the journaling, we do all kinds of things, and it works, but so often we don't know what it is. I believe we're finally starting to connect that. We're finally connecting that subconscious is not only just in our subconscious, it's sending messages all the time to our physical body. And mental, anxiety, depression, it just triggers it. If the concept of the source of many chronic illnesses, physical and or mental, may be caused by subconscious thoughts, if it interests you, I recommend her book, Mind Your Body. Our ability to heal may be in our own hands. As we continue to learn, as humans continue finding out things, we'll learn these things. Blessings. We're going to go ahead and move into our meditation. And if you'd set aside your bulletins and hymnals, get comfortable. This morning, we're going to use a shortened version of the method developed by Nicole Sachs that she calls journal speak. What we're going to do is we're going to hand you out paper, and if you need a pencil or pen, just let Rick's know. And what we're going to do is just write anything you can think of that bothers you. It could be anything. It could be something from your kid. It could be today. Anything, is just start writing it. And I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to write, so just let it keep going. And before you leave, you're going to tear this whole paper up and throw it away. So don't worry about what you write, because no one else is ever going to see it. So we're just going to do this writing. You can talk about family, work, friends, society in general, the shoes in your closet you don't like, whatever it is. Just start writing and put it in there. The purpose is to get your feelings on paper, feelings that could be triggering these fight or flight responses. And what we're going to do, then you'll hold on to them. You're going to write for about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to do a short guided meditation, and then leave you to just meditate, because this should be triggering. It will be triggering a lot of memories, a lot of emotions. And so her method usually is, she says, for 28 days, journal 20 minutes a day and meditate for 10. And so we've got time. We'll probably journal for 5 and meditate for around 10. Okay? And if you run out of things to write, just take a breath, just think about something. We've all got stuff that bugs us. Okay, are there any questions before we go into this? And you guys on Zoom, if you'd get some pencil, oops, I should be over here where you can see me. You guys on Zoom, you got me? If you'd get some pencil and paper also. So, Rix, if you want to go ahead and hand out the papers, and if anyone needs a pencil, just ask Rix. Gotten a heads up from Reverend Scott that we've got the camera going. I can rely on my comfort here. I'm sure most of us have all used these types of techniques. It's just with that little bit of intelligence that it can work. I really suggest you do this, even if you don't want to do it, because if we don't want to do something, that's our ego telling us that's not what I do. So I really suggest that so much of meditation is getting past what our ego tells us. Rick, so I'm going to take one too. Since we're doing this, I'm going to go ahead. Thank you. All righty, so why don't we go ahead, if you would, just go ahead and just start writing. And you're going to throw it away so you can write whatever you want. All right, if you'd hold on to those papers, and we're going to do a meditation. But while we're doing the meditation, if something comes up that really you would like to remember, you could just open your eyes just a little bit and jot it down on that paper. If there's something you think because when we're meditating, if something comes up that really gets your attention, it can hold it. And the reason that idea came up, because you were quieting your mind. Once that idea, you could just stop the meditation. So I always have a journal with me. When I meditate, if something comes up, usually it's something like, I told someone I'd call them at 10:30, or I did this. But if it's something that's going to bother me in my meditation, I just jot it down. I know it'll be there when I finish. So if you go ahead and close your eyes and get comfortable, take a few long breaths, just breathing in and breathing out. When you breathe in, if you let your stomach expand, that allows more room for your lungs just to fill with oxygen. And as you gently pull your stomach in, that allows your lungs to empty. Oxygen being the most important energy source for your body. You can go weeks without food, days without water, and only minutes without oxygen. So take that chance to just take that nice breath in and exhaling. If thoughts come to you, gently acknowledge them. If they're the normal day-to-day thing, acknowledge them, but then just return your attention back to breathing. Just breathing in and breathing out. You have already told Spirit what's on your mind by writing down. You don't need to tell Spirit again. They've heard that. It's out there on the universe. So you can just take your time breathing in and breathing out. And we'll go into the silence. gently release this meditation. Just breathe normally, with no cares or concerns, just breathing normally.